Friday afternoon release of some contentious modelling around how the government plans to meet their net zero emissions by 2050 target. Some in government eager to privately point out one table of the modelling which says that the cost of net zero emissions brought about by a carbon tax would be $400 per tonne of greenhouse gas emissions compared to the $23 per tonne Julia Gillard carbon tax. The question is, does this modelling tell us the true cost of net zero emissions, with the projections that say with the target, Australians will be $2,000 a year better off? Much of the modelling was done by Energy Minister Angus Taylor's old firm McKinsey in conjunction with his department. Why didn't Treasury do this modelling? They did just one aspect, the cost of credit of not committing to the target, which found it would lead to higher interest rates, cut 0.9% from the economy and leave Australians $650 poorer because we wouldn't be going at the same way as the international capital markets. Well, Kieran has interviewed Treasurer Josh Frydenberg. We'll play that later in the program. Mr Frydenberg talks about the bit of modelling that Treasury was involved with.
Well, Treasury did some analysis and provided input into that Department of Industry modelling, and what Treasury's central scenario was that you could see a 100 basis point increase in the cost of capital as a result of not being part of a broader effort to reduce emissions in the way that we are indeed part of with our net zero by 2050 target. Obviously, access to debt and equity markets is important for business, but it's also important for governments. We have around half of our government bonds purchased by overseas investors. We have $4 trillion of foreign investment, and about 20% of bank borrowing is done offshore. This can all flow through to the cost of capital here in Australia, and that was the central scenario that Treasury analysis showed, that a 100 basis point increase in the cost of capital as you went from going to your preferred credit providers to your second tier ones, that would be a consequence of inaction. But we have taken action, and we are taking action with response to reducing our carbon footprint.